Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2025, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 77 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art Sciences and Wellbeing, also commemorating Viksit Bharat at 2047. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, we are celebrating World Art Day internationally, which is celebrated every year on April 15th. All around the world, people have their definitions for what they consider to be art. Different cultures have different tastes and styles. This day is used as an opportunity to promote the development of an art. It encourages people to take time to notice beautiful things around them. With our busy schedules, people don't always have the time to go to art galleries. So a yearly reminder about beauty helps people relax, just enjoy experiencing the world. It shares knowledge, sparks curiosity, and leads to very interesting conversations. World Art Day was declared on April 15th at the General Assembly of the International Association of Art. The first celebration was in 2012. The date was chosen to honor the birthday of famous Leonardo da Vinci. Da Vinci represents tolerance, world peace, freedom of expression, and multiculturalism. The first World Art Day was supposed by all the International Art IAA national communities. There were 150 artists from countries all over the world to ensure inclusion. There were conferences and special museum hours, outdoor art exhibitions were held to display paintings, prints, sculptures, videos, and more. Art comes in different forms and categories. Art can be architecture, music, painting, sculpting, dance, or literature. Cinema is also considered art. It is a way for people to express themselves through creativity. True art is simply an expression of emotion. It represents the artistic view of the world and how they feel about it. Art communicates how similar we can be and also how different. People get their meanings of art when they experience it. Their perceptions are usually based on their personal experiences in life. World Art Day is a great reminder to help people notice the beauty around them. It reminds people to express themselves fully. We are all full of emotions and should be allowed to show them without fear. The goal is to facilitate the sustainable development of art with enough support. Artists can continue to portray beauty. Today is also commemorated as Leonardo da Vinci birthday, which was born in April 15, 1452, in Acciano, known as present-day Italy, near the town of Vinci, which has his surname. He was renowned as an artist, inventor, and thinker. Da Vinci's life was a mixture of joy and sorrow, but he also achieved success in Florence as one of the most celebrated Renaissance artists, it's hard to believe that only a few pieces of Da Vinci work were preserved for us to see. Here at the left, a collection of masterpieces, his paintings and notebooks are scattered all over the world. Today is also commemorated as Universal Day of Culture. The world celebrates the Universal Day of Culture every year on April 15th as an International Observation Day, first organized through the announcement of International Pact. Universal Day of Culture aims to preserve cultures of all countries and communities. Several nations recognize this significant day by organizing initiatives and events. Although referred to as the World of Day of Culture, this is one of the many days that commemorate an international cause bringing people together under one goal. This very spirit of the unity what initiated Universal Day of Culture and still shapes much of its efforts. Universal Day of Culture is a product of an international pact to ratify legal recognition of the conservation of cultural objects and works of art, known as the Treaty of the Protection of Artistic and Scientific Institutions and Historic Monuments, or the Rioric Pact. It legally grants precedence to preserving artworks over military necessity in case of armed conflict. The document was drafted by the eponymous Nicholas Roerich, a Russian painter and author, in an effort to protect cultural and scientific works against destruction in armed conflict. The Rioric Pact was first proposed in 1931, explaining the significance of the Universal Day of Culture. On April 15, 1935, it was first ratified by the United States in Washington, making April 15th as the official day for the international observance. Throughout the 20th century, several efforts were made to enable the aim of this day, make it one of the most significant international celebrations. The banner of peace, which still accompanies every observance of this day across the world, is recognized as a symbol of the pact. An international movement supports the affirmation of this universal day, and all participating countries organize and coordinate international programs to enable intercultural dialogue. One of the goals of the day, charity organizations in Cuba, Italy, Lithuania, Latvia, Russia, and Spain came together to form the international movement for the affirmation of April 15th as Universal Day of Culture in December 2008. 40 organizations from 14 countries and 25,000 individuals currently participate in the movement. Today is also commemorated as Type 1 Diabetes Day in honor of Jackie Fertig, which is observed on April 15th. Every year it is held in the honor of Jackie Fertig, who lost her life to type 1 diabetes. So our mother, Corinne Logan, created this day in 2019 to honor her daughter. Type 1 diabetes was previously known as juvenile diabetes because people thought it only affected children. However, this is not the case. There are about 20 billion people who are living with type 1 diabetes in this world, and most of them are adults. Type 1 Diabetes Day aims to raise awareness of this disease and help people affected by diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is the type of diabetes in which pancreas produces insufficient or no insulin, causing blood sugar to go abnormally high. A mix of environmental and genetic aspects can cause type 1 diabetes. In 1902, Martin Schmidt discovered the relation between a dysfunctional pancreas and diabetes. Martin made this observation when he noted that a young patient diagnosed with diabetes had inflammation around his pancreas. So this phenomenon was further studied and researched by Shields Warren in 1920s. In 1940, Hansen von Weinberg coined the term insult. Subsequently, type 1 diabetes became recognized as an autoimmune disorder. In the 1980s, treatment options for other autoimmune diseases were found effective in suppressing type 1 diabetes, further affirming that type 1 diabetes was indeed an autoimmune disease. In the early years, type 1 diabetes was referred to as juvenile diabetes because often the patients got diagnosed during childhood with type 1 diabetes was found to affect adults also. The parents of the children affected by type 1 diabetes founded the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. It is the largest provider of charitable funds for the research of type 1 diabetes, which aims to understand the cause of type 1 diabetes and find ways to prevent it. Corinne Logan is a parent who created type 1 diabetes to honor the daughter she lost to the disease in 2019. Today is also commemorated as Titanic Remembrance Day on April 15th. RMS Titanic ship had 4 hull compartments that could be flooded without causing a critical loss of buoyancy and thus considered unsinkable. The day is set aside to remember the victims and survivors of the unfortunate sinking of the ship and reflect on how the world jointly responded to a heartbreaking disaster. The Titanic was designed by naval architect Thomas Andrews and was constructed by Belfast shipbuilders Harland and Wolff. Upon completion, it was thought to be the world's fastest ship. It spanned 883 feet from stern to bow. Its hull was divided into 16 compartments that were presumed to be watertight. It was one of the largest and most luxurious ocean liners built during the time. On April 10th, it departed Southampton, England, on its maiden voyage across the Atlantic Ocean. However, just before midnight on April 14th, it failed to divert its course from an iceberg and ruptured at least 5 of its hull compartments, causing water to fill them and ultimately leading to the sinking of the ship after it broke into half. Because of the shortage of lifeboats and the lack of satisfactory emergency procedures, more than 1,500 people went down in the sinking ship or froze to death in the icy northern Atlantic waters. Most of the 700 or so survivors were women and children. A number of notable American British citizens died in the tragedy, including the noted British journalist William Thomas Stead and heirs to the Strauss, Astor, and Guilliman fortunes. The survivors lost everything they had on board, were helped by the public and charities all over the world. Several women's relief committees helped women in providing clothes, and several private trains took up the duty of transporting the survivors to their close families free of charge. Today is also commemorated as Tax Day in US, still refilling through a pile of the past year receipts. Welcome to America's annual financial headache. It's tax day on April 15th, and the Internal Revenue Service patience has just run out. Unless you are due for a hefty refund or working as a highly paid accountant, tax day doesn't usually spark much joy. Although Form 1040 appears shorter nowadays, filing taxes remains way too complicated for most Americans to do alone. It wasn't always this way. The IRS didn't appear on the scene until 1862. That's when the federal government began to access, levy, and collect taxes through its power to seize property and income. So you can always look into filing an extension to get some more extra time. Today is also commemorated as Take a Wild Guess Day in US. It is a day that celebrates all kinds of hunches and guesses, even the wild ones in the world, where we are always looking for the right answers. Guesses are sometimes the key. A hunch can help us land on what our analytical skills might miss. Today is also commemorated as Purple Up Day in US, which is observed every year on April 15th. This day was selected during the month of military change. It is an opportunity to honor military children from all branches of the military. Military children across the country play a significant role in their schools, youth organizations, and communities. The University of New Hampshire Cooperative Extension Military Youth and Family Program established Purple Up Day as a way to support them. It lets them know that they are recognized and appreciated in society. They make up many sacrifices to make sure the country is safe, so deck yourself out in purple to recognize. Today is also commemorated as National Rubber Eraser Day in US. celebrated each year on April 15th, gives us a blank canvas and do over this incredible article of stationery is nothing short of revolutionary. Compact and easy to use rubber erasers deserve an entire day of celebration. Before the invention of rubber erasers, people used tablets made of wax to remove lead or charcoal marks from paper. Even materials such as sandstone and bread have been used historically to undo writings or scribbles. In 1770, Edward Narney, an English engineer, went on to develop the first rubber eraser and sold it for 3 shillings per half-inch cube. The raw rubber material, however, was perishable. Charles Goodyear made this revolutionary dictionary of the process of vulcanization. The method cured the rubber and made it durable. Following this, rubber erasers became a staple stationery item. There are different types of rubber erasers. They are available in standard cubes or different shapes. They can be attached at the end of pencils or can be made out of different materials in colorful designs and different shapes and sizes. They are also called rubber erasers or even just rubber or eraser in different parts of the world. So the invention of the rubber eraser changed the world of writing and stationery. The ability to rub off markings and redo work reduced paper waste and took away the stress of being extra cautious with each word or doodle. From losing countless pink cubes in school to wanting cutest watermelon-shaped design, rubber erasers have been a childhood legend. Rubber erasers are truly a blessing, and National Rubber Eraser Day on April 15th of every year allows us to give much deserved celebration. Today is also commemorated as National Laundry Day in US. Even though National Laundry Day and Tax Day often land together on April 15th, remember to keep these two activities separate. Anybody who has ever recovered a 20 bill from the washing machine knows why. That said, we generally don't love doing laundry. However, we are thrilled when it is done. Think clean clothes, fresh sheets, and special fresh laundry scent. So, do you have a favorite dryer sheet fragrance? Like lavender, which brings us to next fun fact. The word laundry comes from the Middle English lavandry, which in turn came out from Old French word lavender or lavandier for person who washes linen. Today is also commemorated as National Gripers Day in US. This eccentric annual day called National Gripers Day is celebrated across the US on April 15th. It's a day for disgruntled, disappointed, and just plain displeased people who care about them are encouraged to listen and give them a chance to vent. The purpose of this is to bring back interpersonal communication and celebrate it within our community gathering places. To gripe is to express one's disappointment and dissatisfaction. So this day was created by Jack Gilbert, a freelancer writer from Columbus, Ohio in 1984. Gilbert set out to give disgruntled and disillusioned people an audience, encouraging them to voice their concerns and pet peeves to him by publicly publishing his name, address, and contact information. During the first celebration, Gilbert received many calls from people complaining about all sorts of topics, from the weather, school, and food to TV shows, politics, and more. This day aims to bring some cultural and societal practices that have been lost to the growing influence of technology, the internet, and social media. In the 20th century, people gathered in pubs, taverns, diners, and coffee shops just to discuss with other people and express their concerns. This interpersonal and communal communication is seldom seen nowadays. Since the first celebration, National Gripers Day has become a fun national tradition. Much of its significance comes from communal experiences, as the day does its best to restore the spirit, which has become a rare occasion in our increasingly connected age. Today is also commemorated as National Glazed Spiral Ham Day in the US. Today is also commemorated as National Bunyan Day in US. Trees Medical Concepts Inc. established National Bunyan Day, in short known as NBD, in 2024 to educate the public on common misconceptions about the cause of bunions and to highlight the most effective treatment options available. Around 65 million Americans are affected by bunions. While there are many misconceptions that bunions are caused by constrained footwear or standing for long periods of time, the reality is many are caused by hereditary defects or anatomical imbalances of the foot. Although bunions might look like a simple bump, they are actually complex deformities. Caused by unstable joint in the middle of the foot, bunions will not go away on their own and can worsen over time if left untreated, making medical intervention necessary for correcting the problem. Bunions are a complex progressive condition that form when bones in the midfoot slide out of alignment. The deformity often runs in families and is frequently marked by a large bump on the side of the toe, big toe. Bunion pain can significantly impact a patient's life by restricting type of activities they can participate in or limiting the types of shoes they can wear. Almost 25% of American adults suffer from bunions, and despite common misconceptions, anyone can develop them regardless of their gender or lifestyle. Today is also commemorated as National ASL Day in US, which takes place on April 15th every year to celebrate American Sign Language. American Sign Language is used by those who cannot hear or speak, usually by people part of the deaf community. The universality of sign language has helped such people to communicate across the language barriers. Though the written word is also a way to communicate, it is clunky, lacks expression, and is time consuming, especially when a message needs to be given fast. American Sign Language is also used by those who can speak and hear but need to communicate with those who cannot. In some countries, sign language also is one of the official languages as it is a necessary step towards inclusivity. Today is also commemorated as International Micro Volunteering Day in US, which is observed annually on April 15th. It's to raise awareness of the micro volunteering concept and how it can empower worthy causes and individuals to make the world better through bite-sized actions. It's also an opportunity for micro volunteering platforms, volunteering involving organizations and individuals to connect in a sync effort to further their contributions and show the potential of micro volunteering concept. So International Micro Volunteering Day is the initiative of Help from Home, a leading promoter of micro actions worldwide since 2008. Micro Volunteering Day was the first held in 2014, attracting many organizations and thousands of people to dedicate some of their free time to good causes. The primary aim of Micro Volunteering Day is to engage individuals in micro volunteering tasks, encourage organizations to support the idea, promote discussion on the concept, share photos plus stories via micro day or micro volunteering. The term micro volunteering was popularized in 2008 by the Extraordinate Skills for Change, and the concept of micro volunteering has since grown, becoming a global force to connect people who want to spend some of their time on more impactful use through a small volunteering task. The growth became significant because micro volunteering is bite sized, on demand, no commitment actions that benefit a worthy case. It doesn't take much of your time, only 1 to 30 minutes, and you're done. Commonly, there are two types of micro volunteering: skill, one of tasks, and unskilled, repeatable tasks, whether playing a game to contribute to research projects or volunteering via smartphone. You can create an impact. You can do micro volunteering anywhere during commercial breaks at home. in a traffic jam, during smoke breaks at work, or even in your pajamas in bed. That's the upside of micro volunteering. Besides, you can do micro volunteering offline, such as picking up trash while walking on the street. Today is also commemorated as Declaration of Malacca as a historical city in Malaysia, which is observed on April 15th every year. It has been almost 33 plus years since Malacca was declared a historic city. Malacca is a province in Malaysia. It is in the south of Malay Peninsula. From the time of Malay sultanates to the post-colonial era, Malacca has been a place of historical significance. In 2008, Malacca city became a UNESCO World Heritage. Parameswara, known as Iskandar Shah, was the founder of the city of Malacca. The Malay annals mention him as a ruler who ruled the kingdom of Singapura, present-day Singapore, after the naval invasion by the Majapahit Empire. Parameswara founded his new capital near the banks of Bertam River in 1402. The new city developed quickly and soon became the capital of Malacca Sultanate. The legend of Malay annals mentioned that when Parameswara reached the fishing village near the Bertam River, he saw a mouse deer licking his hunting dog into the water. So Parameswara saw this as a divine sign and decided to build capital there. The new capital flourished. People cultivated crops like sugarcane, banana, and yam. The harbor was well protected by a hill. Taking advantage of this, Parameswara built a port to nurture trading and be a common place for exchanging goods and cargo. Soon, the news of flourishing trade reached other parts of the world. The Yongle Emperor in China sent his convoy to Malacca to establish trade between China and Malacca. In 1411, Parameswara with his family went to China to visit Emperor. Parameswara was gifted silk and a yellow umbrella, which symbolized royalty. In 1511, Portuguese Admiral Alfonso de Albuquerque reached the shores of Malacca with 1,200 men and seized the city. The Portuguese now controlled international trade. Later in the 16th century, the Dutch launched a series of attacks on Portuguese-occupied Malacca, and Malacca became a part of Britain with the Anglo-Dutch Treaty of 1824. In 1946, Malacca became a part of Malayan Union. On April 15, 1989, Malacca was declared a historical city. Today, this week is also commemorated as Money Smart Week in US. This week is celebrated every year in April. This year from April 15 to 21st to empower people with the knowledge and skills needed to make well-informed personal finance choices. The world of finance and banking can often seem daunting, especially if you are uninitiated or have no professional help available. We know how you feel it, but the good news is that it is never too late to learn. Consider this week as an opportunity to educate yourself on those difficult financial terms and get tips on how to properly handle your hard-earned money. Today, this week is also commemorated as Canada Book Week from April 15 to 21. In Canada, which is an annual event that is marked, the decision to have this day falls on the third week of April and can be part of Canada Book Day, which shares the same day as World Book Day. The idea behind Canada Book Week is to encourage the promote books and the habit of reading. There is a startling rate of global illiteracy, usually stemming from the lack of study materials, including books. However, it is essential to establish and maintain a reading culture as early as possible to lay the foundation for a forward-thinking and innovation-driven society due to constant search for information and knowledge. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you everyone for joining us on today's commemorations. So we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form that has been raised in the form of polls. before leaving the platform. So see you all tomorrow at the same time with the same joining link. Take care. Good night.